Are you curious how store picks are selected? Is the bourbon craze about to go bust? And most of all, what is the Ben cartel? Join us as we seek those answers on a new podcast we're calling What's Trending with Brij Patel of Sprayberry Bottle Shop. Well, welcome to Bourbon Riders and our What's Trending video with our friend Brij Patel at Sprayberry Bottle Shop. Brij, thanks for having us in the store.
Yeah, thank you for coming by.
You know, I've been shopping here since, I don't know, I used to live in this neighborhood. So this store I used to come by every so often. You probably don't remember me. I actually had black hair back then. So, but you've been here a long time. Tell me, how long have you guys been here?
We have been here now 22 years. We just celebrated in July.
Wow.
And been through at least like two recessions now. Cycle has just evolved. It's like when we started, when I was barely legal to sell, right back there, we had 3 shelves on each side, 6 total shelves, and everything was in there that was just allocated bourbon. So we had Taylor small batch, Taylor single barrel, Taylor rye, all in line, and we had Eagle Rare for $29 a fifth.
And were they sitting there collecting for a while, for a while before?
We dusted them every other week.
You wouldn't see that today.
Half gallons of Eagle Rare for $49. Buffalo Trace.
Half gallon of Eagle Rare for $49.
Yeah.
You're lucky to find a 750 for $49.
Yeah.
These days.
Right when we took over, we had old Rip Van 10-year squatty bottles for $50 on the back shelf. And people were calling my store asking about it. And I was like, wow, our store's on the map because people are calling us for a bottle of bourbon. And I had no idea what it was.
Wow.
Here we are.
So, I take it your parents started the store?
Yes, they did.
Started working as a teenager, maybe?
Yes. I was a doorman. So I started as a doorman and I stocked the coolers. And
what does a doorman do at a bottle shop? Just open the door for
everyone that walked in, open the door and close the door because I couldn't run the registers.
Whatever they ask you to do, right?
Exactly, yeah. So 22 years fast forward, started with beer, then fell in love with craft beers. We got the beer program on the map in Georgia and outside of Georgia too, and started falling in love with bourbon. And soon we started doing 3 barrels, 4 barrels, 5 barrels, and something just happened. I got struck by bourbon lightning and started doing 100 barrels a year. Now we're trending and doing about 60 a year.
Well, I was going to ask you, I know that the local bourbon community, you're known as the store pick king. You don't have the biggest store, but you always have the biggest and best selection, it seems, of store picks. And you and I have been collaborating for a while now, and I see how you do it. Not everyone sees how you do it. So how do you go about getting store picks? How does someone like Sprayberry Bottle Shop get all these great store picks in here?
So what I started doing was I just started trusting my palate, and I just started trying everything. So I went from only chasing Eagle Rare barrels, Buffalo Trace barrels, which I love, right? Yeah. That's where my starting grounds were for barrel picks. And I started accepting other barrels outside of the program. And soon enough, I started learning so much about different barrels, and I just started enjoying more and more stuff. And now we're just picking what we really like. And it's just been an amazing journey.
Did you have to chase these things, or were people come to you and say, hey, Brij, we'd like to offer you a barrel. Here's a taste. Who was doing what? Were you pulling them in, or were they pushing barrels to you?
Oh, we would call everyone back when we started and told everyone, hey, like my Four Roses ambassador, I called him every year and I was like, hey, I'm ready for a Four Roses pick. And he's like, awesome, we'll set you up. And that's how we did barrels. Eagle Rare, same thing. And other stores were not able to sell barrels. They're like, no one wants to commit to this much volume. We had half gallons of Buffalo Trace picks sitting up here for $39, and it took me 6 months to sell a barrel of Buffalo Trace.
That wouldn't happen these days, would it?
No, that would be gone in 30 minutes pre-sale.
So one of the focus of our show today is the bourbon industry seems to be changing a lot. And you being a buyer and someone that knows what people are looking for, what trends are we seeing in bourbon right now? What trend is still growing?
So kind of like there's so many variables going on this year. We have the economy, we have presidential elections going on this year. So there's too many things going on. So what we're really seeing is $50 sub price points is what's moving everything right now.
Really?
If it's in the $100 price range, it better be damn good.
Well, I know that just recently Bardstown came out with their high wheated. Everyone's loved their Origin Black Label for years, but they came out with another Origin that's high wheated, and I hear from you that's taken off big time.
Absolutely. We started with 10 cases. And matter of fact, as soon as I got my shipment, you were right here at the right time, and you got the first bottle that landed in Georgia.
I did.
First
I was going
bottle.
like, well, what? How could I be that lucky? Because I've always loved the Bardstown Origin and the Black Label. I've got bottles. I got backups to my backups.
Yeah.
So I was very happy to see that and that you got that. And it was like, yeah, can I get a bottle, Brij?
So it's 6 years old, high wheated, which is 39% wheat, and price point, it's under $50.
Yeah, that is a
Can't
great.
beat that.
And we did a review on the channel. If you've not seen it, go into our playlist and see it. It's an absolutely phenomenal bourbon for the money. I'm a big wheated bourbon fan, and I promise you, if you like wheated bourbon, you like a good wheated bourbon. This is a good wheated bourbon.
You're seeing a lot of stores, podcast reviewers posting this as a Weller killer on social media right now too, and it's just trending.
I love Weller. I'm almost afraid to put that Bardstown High Wheat against some of my Wellers because I'm afraid they might lose.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing wrong with some friendly competition, right?
Well, let's. Do you think overall the bourbon craze, and it's been crazy, you've seen all these craft distilleries come into the game and everyone coming out with these limited releases, and it seems like there is no limit to price anymore. Is the bourbon craze still going on, or is it starting to flatline or even decline? What do you think
So
about
what I'm seeing is an evolution going on. So the OG bourbon people that were in the game, that were able to get your Pappy bottles, your BTAC bottles, and they're starting to get palate fatigued, and they're getting tired of the chase and the pricing and how flooded the market's becoming with more people chasing bourbons. So we're starting to see that segment of people transitioning into tequilas now. That's what's up and coming now is the
that?
tequila
Wow.
market, and because it's affordable, it's it's also gluten free because it's made from agave, so it doesn't give people as much hangovers. And sometimes doctors are telling people to cut back on drinking, so they go into tequilas now because it's healthy
Oh, I'm cutting
drinking.
back on drinking.
I'm
I'm
cutting.
drinking bourbon.
So so we're seeing that evolution from that segment of group of people. Then we're seeing new people that are starting to drink bourbons coming in, and they're asking for newer bourbons, and that they're keeping the bourbon evolution going. So yeah,
Well, let's take a break, and we're going to get into some of these bottles you're showing us. So we'll be right back.
we'll be right back.
Okay, we're back. Brij, we talked about how your barrel picks are so involved and that you've really grown to what you're doing today. Is there you have any barrels coming out in the near future that you can tell us about?
So yeah, so I think this year we're wrapping up to moving at least 500 plus barrel picks, and it's just
Wow.
something that we just can't stop. It's like, so now the most exciting ones we got coming out, like we have one of the oldest releases from James E. Pepper. We have, it's a blend. The decanter bottles have been trending this year like crazy.
Absolutely.
So there's a blend from them, a single variant from them coming of one of the mash bills. So we have a barrel pick of this coming that's 5 years old. That's the oldest one he's released in the market. That's his own distillate, and that's going to be super exciting. So we're looking forward to that. And then we're also looking. This was a big hit. This was one of the first retail barrels that hit from the ASW. It's a toasted wheat, and that's been a big hit so far. Then we have the Green River right there. We have a foolproof barrel coming as well, and yeah, it's pretty exciting.
I see this a lot. Someone comes into your store and they're looking. All they know is bourbon. My husband, my friend, my coworker. I want to get them a nice bourbon, and they come to you and say, Brij, there's too many bourbons. I have no idea what to pick. How do you help somebody that's coming in and they want a bourbon and that's about all they know?
So typically we always ask what someone enjoys, what they like, and we try to navigate based on profiles. And it all comes down to what someone likes, and we try to make sure we dive in and go down that path and get them what they're looking for. And it's very important to know what someone likes, because otherwise I don't want to get a scotch for someone that likes bourbon, or get a rye for someone that likes a bourbon. And if someone doesn't like high rye bourbons, get them a wheated bourbon. So vice versa.
Wow. And you have a group that you refer to as the Bin Cartel. Tell me, what is the Bin Cartel?
So the Bin Cartel, Bin means buy it now. So just one day,
I always wondered why Bin.
So buy it now cartel, and it just became a thing, and everyone's like, Bin Cartel. I'm like, that's a good idea, and it just came about, and that became a thing. And from that, we've built a big community. Like, it's just not a group that picks barrels and just goes from there, but we've built a community where it's like members from all occupations, and just clients becoming friends. And next thing you know, it's like we've just created this nice little thing going, and we go out and do events and stuff together, barrel picks together.
Oh, I've been on at least one of those, so
Yeah.
I know how that is. So
Yeah.
I'd recommend, if you're in the Marietta area, or if you're not, the next time you come in Sprayberry Bottle Shop, ask Brij about the Bin Cartel. He'll set you up. It's a great group to be in. I'm a member of. He lets me know about all kinds of things I probably wouldn't know otherwise. So it's a great way to communicate what's going on and what's coming next in the bourbon, whiskey, and even tequila world, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah.
So, it's a time of season that in the next couple months, limited releases are getting ready to come out. Do you have any limited releases that you're excited about, that you've heard about, that maybe our viewers haven't?
So, I mean, like right now, right off the bat, this has been one of the biggest releases. They're calling this the Bourbon of 2024, the Russell's 15, and
Wow.
this is going to be part of our loyalty club at the end of the year. But if you could find it, track it down, and there's just so many big releases coming out.
Yeah, a lot of people on the what we call Whiskey Tube have been talking about this Russell's 15, and they absolutely love it. They think it's one of the best bourbons out there. I know it can be a little pricey at times.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you want to belong to a loyalty or rewards program at your local bottle shop, because don't shop these on the secondary market. Do your shopping at your local bottle shop and earn those points so you can get bottles like this one.
Yeah, and my best advice before we wrap it up is when you find a store whose palate you enjoy, build a relationship with them. Relationship is key in these days, and it's like you build a relationship, you become a loyal customer, and just from there you build up, and that's just how rewards get you further as well.
I know it's worked for me. So, Brij, thank you very much for inviting us here today.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us on our first episode of What's Trending with Sprayberry Bottle Shop. We're going to try to do this monthly.
Yeah.
And Brij is always talking to me about new things that's coming out. So there'll always be something new to talk about. What's Trending with Sprayberry Bottle Shop. Cheers.
Cheers.